Hey, it's your old pal Lucid Stew again, and in this video we're going to be looking at renderings for a video I did about the Richmond to Raleigh project in Virginia and North Carolina. This is a project to improve Richmond to Raleigh train travel by 80 minutes, which is pretty significant in terms of U.S. rail travel. Here we're in Richmond and we're going over the river on a new bridge. This is actually part of the proposal here, and where I have the line traveling in the video is actually where it's planned in the R2R plan. So this part right here conforms, including being in the right of way with freight. This video has the distinction of being the first one where I was able to subtract from the Google Maps data. I didn't previously know how to do that before this video. The interesting thing about that is it's probably doubled my production time on these types of videos. So while it's cool to have, it's not super efficient for me. Previously, when I was doing things like this, I was using a lot of camera cut tricks and other things to kind of mask the fact that I wasn't able to do this. So here you'll see the previous cut was without the section removed, and now this part will have the section removed. Here in the route, I'm deviating from the R2R plan to go onto this side route. This was actually rejected in the R2R plan, but I found this to be a little bit faster. We have to cut through a neighborhood in order to accomplish it, but it was shorter and faster, so I went with it because I get to control what happens in these videos. In this shot, we're passing by a swampy pond on the way. I don't really do shots like this anymore because I've had a lot of problems with Unreal Engine crashing on me. I may have that fixed. Recently, I switched to a newer version of a plugin that I was using and a newer version of the engine, so maybe that'll take care of it. Maybe I'll start trying these camera cuts again. We're crossing a little reservoir here on the way to merging back into rail right of way. The previous routing used an abandoned branch line, so now we're going back into active right of way. The portion we're leaving is the old Seaboard Airline, and then we're getting on to CSX North End subdivision. And here's another pretty cool shot that I don't really do anymore with the overhead because I can't switch cameras. So that looked real good. I was real happy with that one. I also did an undercrossing right here for the first time, but you can't really tell. And this is coming into Petersburg. Petersburg currently has a station in the place where we're going to stop here. That station is located at Virginia State University. Petersburg is a city of only about 35,000, so it's really not the greatest place to stop for high speed rail. But frankly, there really aren't a whole lot of places that you could stop between Richmond and Raleigh. It's a pretty rural area. So this seemed as good a place as any to stop, even though it's only about 22 miles from Richmond. And it does stop at a university, so. This is out of Petersburg to the south. Again, we're deviating from the R2R plan on a routing that the R2R plan actually rejected. This would cross the Appomattox River on a new bridge. If I remember correctly, the reason this routing got rejected is because it comes pretty close to a Civil War battleground. But I didn't find it to be an issue. I thought there was a way to make that work. And then the big joke in the video is that we just barely missed taking out this Whataburger right here. Right here, this would hook back up with the old Seaboard Airline route. Here we are way down the line, almost in Raleigh. Because, like I said, there's a huge rural area in between the two, and there's almost no 3D Google Maps data to work with. Here, I routed the train into the median of US 1, which is like this combination limited access highway, divided highway, strode thing out there north of Raleigh. It was good for about 125, 135 miles per hour compared to what the R2R is going to do in the area, which is a lot slower. So I went ahead and deviated. Here, that route is curving to hook back up with existing rail right of way, which is much slower, but really into Raleigh, there aren't a lot of good alternatives. It's going to be fairly slow from about the Wake Forest area into the city. So this is going back into the CSX Norlina subdivision, which is the um, S-line routing. So we're back onto the S-line routing after using Interstate 85 for a long way. That was my choice. S-line will use CSX line, some of it abandoned as far as here. And here we are in Raleigh. This is sticking as close to the R2R plan as I could within reason. What they're planning to do here is they're going to deviate from, oh no, I can't remember what it is. It's CSX, I think, and then they're going to hop into Norfolk Southern right away, right here at this yard. And that's going to require a sizable crossing of, I think it's Capitol Boulevard. And I have this double tracked here. I'm not quite sure if they're planning to double track this area. They're not going to be electrified. RTAR is diesel electric. There's room for 2 tracks right here. 2 electrified tracks in addition to the freight track would be quite the challenge, and I determined that at least a few buildings in this area would be toast. This is also kind of a weird routing because it's almost more like a metro line where it curves around the city all over the place and really doesn't move very fast. So it's kind of a weird place to run an intercity train. And while this does get you access, like access is the only advantage of this, it's going to be extremely slow. You'd be lucky if the train would get to 35 miles an hour in this particular area. And then one thing I learned here after I made the video was that Raleigh's planning to build a platform right around here for trains coming in from this direction. Uh, like I said, I did not know that. It's kind of a weird spot for a platform, too. By the way, the plan is really interesting. The platform would be like a quarter mile from the station. So I had the train running into this curve and then stopping and backing up into Raleigh Station, but that entire idea was uh, unnecessary. Overall, I had this high speed saving about an hour over the R2R plan, which itself is supposed to save about an hour and 20 minutes over current. And that's the end of that video. So I'll see you next time on these commentary videos. But that's all for now. Until next time, I'll see you on that big, beautiful freeway.